Haminad, boys and girls. That means hello in the Serrano language. And my name is Jackie Tejuca Nunez. And my people are about an hour south and to the west by the coast. And my tribe is called the Juaneño Band of Mission Indians, a Hashima nation. And we say hello like this. Miuyam, miuyam. That means hello. I'm so excited for all of you because you are going to get a chance to have this wonderful virtual program into your classroom, and you're going to learn some wonderful things about California Native Americans. You know, this whole program, California Native American Day, started about 20 years ago, and with the brilliant minds of the elders and educators from the tribe, they thought this would be a great program so that children could meet Native Americans. Children could touch Native American things and learn authentic things, and even things that have been left out of our history books. With a collaboration of the Cal State San Bernardino and the tribe, California Native American Day was birthed. And now you're going to join us on this virtual journey. You're going to meet people that are basket weavers, people that play games and will teach you games. You'll have some that'll sing and teach you how to dance to the bird songs. And you're going to meet a storyteller too. That's me. We all have our expertise. But if you take away anything from me, I want you to remember this, that everyone has a story. You, yes, you, those people that are looking at me, you have a story. Your family, your grandparents, your ancestry. If you eat different food, or you sing different songs, or you're from a different country, or you were born right here in the United States, your family is just as important as our family. Now, I told you that I was a storyteller, and when I was in first grade, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. When anyone said, let's play, it was always school. So right now, what I want you to think about is, what do you love to do? If you love sports, that could be your passion. If you love to play school like me, maybe you're going to grow up to be a teacher. If you like to lead people and give directions, who knows, the president. But let me tell you this, you need to pay attention to yourself and learn what you love to do, and then pursue that passionate love that's inside. Now, as a teacher, and I've been a classroom teacher for many years, in fact, I've taught for about 40, but I was in the classroom for about 15 years, I noticed something, and it hurt a little, and sometimes it hurt a lot. My children, when they were young, we raised them with their culture. All my boys had long hair, and there's a significance to that. They all wore braids, so did my husband, and when they went to a school that they were the only Native American children, the kids made fun of them. They used to pretend like they were going to cut their braids. They called them a girl. I went to the principal and I said, let me share about our people. Our people are the builders of the Mission San Juan Capistrano. Let me share with you who we are, and let me teach you who my children are. And that's really how my storytelling program began, to protect my children from the bullies who made fun of them. So, here's what children would do when I would come and show them things. This is a rattle. It's a rattle that's only played by the men, and it's a very significant rattle. And when I tell them, what do you think it is, oftentimes they say shells or rocks, but actually, it's the recycled deer toenails from the deer. And this is evidence that our people were the very first recyclers. Some children would go like this, ew! And I would tell the children, don't say that, don't judge that. This is special to my people. Instead of pointing and prejudging and making fun of things that you don't understand, let's take this finger, this finger that has pointed and prejudged a lot of people. and let's put it where it belongs, right here. And look at this and say, that's different, and that deserves respect and understanding. And when you say those two words, do you know what your brain does? It goes like this: open, 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 open. It's open, and it's ready to learn. And when you learn about other people, you won't laugh. You know, people that laugh at others, it's not because anything is funny. It's because they're uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, you sometimes make bad choices. So remember the finger on the chin, and when your neighbor wants to share with you something that's something you've never seen before, maybe it's part of what their grandparents made a long time ago and they still make it today, look at that food maybe and still try it. And if you know you don't like it, swallow it nicely. And when they say, would you like some more? Just say, no, thank you. But that was an interesting flavor. And now you know that maybe that food is not for you. But you might find out that you love it. And then you can say, yes, I'll have some more. Well, I told you I was a storyteller. So I want to tell a story. And this story came because I always felt different. When you live in Orange County, there's not a lot of Native Americans, and I was always the only one. And so this story is birthed from my heart about a little girl whose name is Shulayam. A long time ago in the village of Ahashimai, there lived a little girl, and her name is Shulayam. Try it, say it. Shulayam. Good. And that little girl was special even when she was inside her mother's tummy. Her mother would rub her tummy and lay on the soft rabbit fur in the kitchen. And there was a smoke hole, and she would count the stars in the sky. It was her favorite thing to do. And when she had her baby, she couldn't believe it, that her little girl had spots all over her face. She looked at her baby, she looked up at Creator and said, oh, Creator, you have given me a beautiful one that has the night sky. I shall call her Shulayam, which means many stars. And Shulayam was special. When she started to grow up, and she was just about that tall, she loved to sing, but her ear didn't hear the songs that were coming out of her voice. Sort of sounded like this. Yahane, Yahane. All the people in the tribe would run away, and even the animals would run too. Why, even the skunk would come back and say, what's going on? But that little girl grew. And when she got to be this big, her ear connected with her heart and her voice. And when she sang like this. Ay, yahane, 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 na, na, yahane, na, na, yahane, na. And the rabbits came to her feet, and the deer nuzzled her elbow, and the badger came out of his hole, and the deer was right there. But it was the dragonfly that swirled over everyone in the village and only landed on her. Do you know, in the California way we say that when a dragonfly lands on you, that means that you have a good heart. And she did have a good heart. Oh, she sang for everyone. If anyone would fall, she'd help them up. If anyone need help, oh, she would help them. She was a good girl and had such a good heart. But there was a little boy in the tribe, and he didn't have a good heart. He had a coyote spirit, and he didn't like that the dragonfly never landed on him. And so he grabbed up an abalone shell, and he put some mud in it, and he got by the creek, and he got a stick, and he began to paint his face. And when he looked in the creek and he saw all the brown spots, he began to laugh. He thought he was so funny. And when all the children came around, he did this. Yeah. Yahane, 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 no, no, Yahane, no, no, Yahane, no. Shulayam saw him, and she backed out of the village, and tears began to come down her face, and she started to whimper, and she ran to the creek where her grandmother was gathering deer grass, and she cried, "No, yo! Why do I have these spots all over my face?" She picked up a soap root, which was a plant that was like a brush, and she began to brush her face. She hoped that she could just wash off those spots. And the grandmother came to her and she said, "Shulayam, never question the Creator, for it is He who placed those spots on your face." Shulayam looked at her grandmother and she took her finger and wiped her tear. And then the grandmother says, "Come, look right here by the creek. There are 2 leaves. One is spotted and one is plain. Which one do you notice?" "The one with the spots." "Yes. It is the same one that the caterpillar goes to and eats and becomes what? A butterfly." "Yes, a butterfly, a beautiful butterfly." And then she took Shulayam by the rock. She said, "Here's 2 rocks. One is spotted and one is plain. Which one do you notice?" "The one that has the spot on it." "Yes, and that is the one that the rattlesnake crawls onto, sheds his old skin, and becomes this new and beautiful creation." And Shulayam wiped her tears again, and she wiped her nose, and she threw her hair back, and she grabbed her clapper stick, and she was ready to sing when she noticed that little boy, that coyote boy. He was behind an oak tree, and he was crying, "Oh, nobody likes me. Nobody likes my tricks." And in an instant, her heart melted, and she said, "Mona," which means come here. "Mona." Oh, he couldn't believe that she was calling him. And there he came. He stood by her, and she got an abalone shell, and she put some water on it, and she put it over his head. By now, his face was one big muddy mess, and it rinsed all the brown dirt off of his face. And as that water rinsed his face, he said, "She's everything that everyone says she is. She's so nice and kind. Oh, I like her so much." "Shulayam?" "Yes." "Would you be my friend?" "Of course. Do you think that a dragonfly will ever land on me?" "Shh, be still. They're coming." And the dragonflies came. There was hundreds. And the little dragonfly came to that little boy and almost landed on him, and then he flew away. And then they came again and again. And one little bitty dragonfly landed on his nose. "Shulayam, there's a dragonfly on my nose. I think he likes me and I like him. Oh!" And then it flew away. And then the dragonflies came again and again and landed right on Shulayam, as always. And Shulayam looked at that dragonfly and looked up at Creator, and she smiled, for she knew that she was special, and she knew her friend was special too. And I'm going to say ho, and you're going to say hey, because the story's over. Ho! Hey. Oh, good. That was great. So there was a story about a little girl who was different. And through stories, little children learned how to be in the world. Listening to that story, you might have picked up that it's not okay to make fun of people. And it's okay for people to be different. Just imagine that little girl. She was the only little girl in the village that had spots on her face. But it were those spots that made her different and beautiful. Now, the next story is about some animals, and it's about the beginning of time. It's about when there was only the sun, and there was no moon or no stars. I think you're going to like this one. A long time ago, why, there was only the sun and just the animals and no people. And during the day, the animals loved the day, for they could see the ocean, and they could see the sky, and they could see the plants, and they could see each other. But at night, there was no moon. There was no stars, and it was dark. And often, the animals would hurt themselves trying to find their place to sleep. Like Hunwoot, the bear, he would go around. Oh, I just want to find my cave. Ah! And he'd hurt his paw again. I hate the nighttime. And the turtle, she would go along trying to find where she was going to, rest her little head, and she always fell off the cliff. And she would roll and roll and roll and end up on her back. She'd say, "Help me, somebody, please." And they'd turn her over. And when she took her breath, she'd say, "I hate the nighttime." Finally, all the animals got together. And in a council of animals, they decided that they were going to go to the wisest bird in the village, Eagle. And they went to Eagle and they said, "You are the one that could fly up to the sun and ask him for some of that light for the nighttime. We need you, our Shroot." And he said, "I will, I shall." And that next day, he flew. And he flew. And he got close to the sun, but not so close that his wings were singed. And he said, "Tamet, Brother Sun." "Yes." "I have a satchel here and wondered if maybe you could share some of your light so we could have a little bit more light at night. The animals have asked for it." And Tamet said, "I will, I shall. I wondered when you were going to come to me." And so the eagle reached up, and he put some light in his satchel. And he reached up. "You reach up too. Come on, reach up," and put it in the satchel. And then he drew the string and put it in his beak, and he flew down to earth, to Mayawood. "All right, all of you, tonight it's going to be different, for I will change the world forever." And they were all excited. The nighttime came. And he put that satchel in his beak again, and he flew up, and he flew up, and then he opened it up. Help me out. You too, go like this. And they put a bunch of little specks of Tamet sunlight in the sky, and it made a formation of an animal. Constellations. And up there, it was a picture of Hunwoot, the bear. And the bear looked up and he said, "I like it. I like it a lot." But there was somebody who didn't like it, and it was the coyote. Oh, had to put him up there with his big old belly and his big old bottom. Well, I would be such a nice picture in the sky. Why, look at my nose and my ears and my fine tail. Arr! The next day came, and then it was nighttime again. And Ashwoot said, "All right, I go up to put some more light in the nighttime." So he flew, and he flew, and he flew, and he began to throw those pieces of light up in the sky. And all the animals looked up and they said, "Ooh, ah." There was another picture, another constellation. Who do you think it was? No, it wasn't Coyote. It was Eagle. And he stood there and he said, "I like it. I like it a lot. But there was somebody who didn't like it. Coyote. Ew. Had to put him up there. Who likes feathers anyway? Look at my nose and my ears and my fine tail. That night, Coyote had a plan. He said, I will take that satchel and I will grab it with my teeth and I will run up to the highest mountain and my nose will place my picture up in the sky, just like them. Now you're going to have to help me out because he's going to come and he's going to grab that satchel. Now, boys and girls, go like this and run. Come on, run, run. He's going up that hill, he's going up that hill, and at the count of 3, I want you to clap your hands. 1, 2, 3. Ah, and he fell, and he rolled, and the satchel opened up, and there was thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, probably millions of little pieces of light, and you couldn't see the bear or the eagle, and all the animals looked up, and they said, Coyote, you ruined everything. And Coyote looked, and he began to cry. And he cried so much that he just had to leave the village, and he ran, and he ran, and he howled. And then the little hummingbird came, and she looked a long time, and she said, I can see the bear. You have to look closely. Coyote, come back. And I can see the eagle. You have to look closely. Coyote, my friend, come back. Coyote never came back to the village. And you know what they say? The coyote's been howling ever since. I'm going to count to 3, and you give me your best howl, all right? And I'll howl with you. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to say ho, and you're going to say hey, and that's the end of the story. Ho! Hey, I think I heard you. You know, it was so fun in the villages. We had a game that was like soccer, but we didn't use a ball. We used a round stone. Everyone say, ouch. Because, you know, if you kicked that round stone with your toe, you'd break your toe, so you had to roll it from the bottom of your foot. And right over here, I have the ball, so you can see. And this became a round stone by just going down the riverbed, and Native Americans would look for the most perfect round stone to play the game. We even had a game that was like soccer, and we had a stick, and it was called shinny. And you would use the ball, the rock too, and you played it very much like shinny as well. There was lots of games, like one right here, where we are playing with the sticks. And I'm going to throw the sticks right here. And when I throw the sticks right here, one side is decorated and the other side is plain. If all decorated side comes up, that's 3 points. If all plain comes up, it's 2 points. And if it comes up half and half, it's 1 point. But any other combination of 4 and 2 or 5 and 1 is 0. Now, you can have a basket or you can use your hands. I'll sing a song. Hey, nikni hewana, hey, nikni hewana, hapsi wana hewana, hapsi wana hewana. Woo! 5 and 1, no points. But that game was played with children, with moms and dads and grandpas, as they gathered around the fire. And they had a time together that was family time, and it was a fun time for them to be together. Boys and girls, we have journeyed back in time a little bit, and you are going to journey with our teachers today. But remember, we are people that live in your community. We live in houses, we drive cars, we even stop at Starbucks. We are your neighbor, And we just wanted you to know a little bit about us so that you would know what is true and some of the things that are not true. Sometimes when I go to schools and children see me, they make this sound. "Oh," and I tell them, that is not a sound that our people ever made. We didn't make that sound. And they're shocked because they always associate that sound with all Native Americans. We are as different from each other, and yet we are the same. We understand the earth, and we took things, but we never took more than we needed. And if there's one thing that you can learn is that Native Americans were the first environmentalists, and you can take care of Earth today too. And if you do, then you're going to walk in the path of our ancestors who never took more than we needed, and we always gave back to Mother Earth. So cross your finger like this. This is an R in sign language, and say after me: recycle, reuse, renew, respect Mother Earth, respect the flyers, respect the crawlers, respect the swimmers, respect all creatures, respect yourself, but especially respect your neighbor. Their differences are really the beauty that they hold. So learn about your neighbors and celebrate your neighbors. And that's all the time that I have for you today until the next time that we meet. But would you promise me something? Put your hand up just like this and say, I promise to learn 5 wonderful things about me and my family. Plant it deep in my heart and share it with the world. Boys and girls, that's a promise, so you try and do that. Ask your mother. Say, Mom, I met this Indian lady. Her name was Miss Jackie. I promised her I would learn about our family. She was short and a little bit chubby, but she sure was nice. And she said that our family is special. Will you tell me the special things about me? I'm excited. I'm excited for your journey today and for your journey for all your tomorrows. And in my language, we say, Ama. Goodbye, boys and girls. Until the next time.